Hello and welcome to another Cactus Hill adventure. In this video we're going to be going on Reds Canyon Loop. You can see basically in the center of the screen at County Road 1012 is where we're starting. We access from Temple Mountain Road, and we're going to go the entire loop, and the Reds Canyon Loop is 25 miles and the last 9 miles will be, which will be a total of 34, will be on McKay Flat. Here are some of the views you'll see in the video. There's some uranium mines scattered throughout the area. This is a rock fall you'll see towards the end of this video. And also in this video we came upon some side-by-sides. So anyway, here's a sign denoting McKay Flat and Reds Canyon Loop. McKay Flat is to the left and straight ahead is Reds Canyon Loop. If you take either direction, you'll come back to this intersection. Basically, you can go on some other trails, but if you stay on McKay Flat to Reds Canyon Loop, you'll end up back here. So anyway, the total trip is about 35 miles. This section of the road I showed in the Temple Mountain video. There's Family Butte. We took a drive out there to find that and kind of goofed around that area for a little bit and never actually got there, but we're gonna try again. We're in Reds Canyon Wilderness area. That's the BLM is responsible for these areas. And here we go on Reds Canyon Loop. I'm going to be speeding up certain sections of this video because I had over 4 hours of video to compress down to watchable time. Here we got a glimpse of Reds Canyon, and here we're going to see a much better view of it. It's a very beautiful and picturesque canyon, well worth the trip. Right now we're on a little bit of a plateau, and we'll be going down into the canyon here in a little bit. The road up to this point is very good. It gets a little more interesting as we dive down into the canyon, and I'll point those sections out as we go. Here obviously is a road going down to the canyon. We're going to come across some side-by-sides here, and you'll see our interaction with them. From my understanding, when side-by-sides come in a group, they'll give you how many fingers up that there are behind you. So this gentleman gave us 2 fingers, so we assume there's 2 more side-by-sides in his group. So we take off kind of slowly and kind of keep an eye out for that the second and third ones. As we approach this turn, you'll see the second one. And just enjoy the views straight ahead. It was spectacular in the Jeep. And as I say, the video never does it justice. So there's number 2. So we're assuming there's a third one coming, so we're kind of taking it easy here. We see little puffs of dust to the left. It doesn't show in the video here, but we saw them when we were on the trail, so we assume that's the third one. So any of you that out there that drive ATV side-by-sides, tell me if I'm getting the etiquette correct on this. So I'd like to know for sure. We always try to slow down a little bit when we approach some other vehicles to keep the dust clouds down, and try to show some good etiquette to other users of the trail. This one's just saying hi. Dog's looking like he wants to chase us a little bit, but anyway, here we go down into the canyon. And get a wide open view of the canyon. And you're probably going to get tired of me saying this, but this canyon is really, really beautiful. Again, well worth the trip. Now this canyon, the road, the trail that we're on, it'll be in a lot of washes. It goes in and out of the washes all the way down this side. And it's probably about 10, 11 miles in this direction that we're going to go. And the road's still pretty good, but you'll see coming up that it gets a little, not too critical, not too crazy or anything, but we start to see some places that have been washed out and the road's kind of split open a little bit. So just be aware of those. This was in fall of 2022 is when we went on this trip, so hopefully they've repaired some of this road, but again, it's nothing crazy or critical or no obstacles, just be aware of it. Coming up in front of us is Square Top Butte or Square Top Mountain. Here's one of those kind of washout areas I mentioned. And another one coming up here. Not really an obstacle, but obviously you have to make sure you kind of straddle it. Square Top Butte, which is on the right here, is about 7,350 feet in elevation, 2,240 meters. It's easily one of the tallest geological features in the area. Here we picked a nice spot to pull over, and we stopped, took a break, took some pictures, and probably had a couple of snacks or so. And here we're back on the road. I recommend stopping there if you get a chance, and the pictures are pretty nice from this area. Again, there's one of those little splits in the road. And we're basically traveling in the wash now. And again, I hate to reiterate this over and over again, but we're going to be going in and out of washes the whole time. So, and you know me, if you've listened to any of my other videos, pay attention to the weather when you travel off-road anywhere in south central Utah. The monsoon season is late in the summer. July, August, and into September anytime can have monsoon rains. It will ruin your day in this type of trail. As you probably noticed, this is part one of Reds Canyon Loop. There is 3 parts. Parts 1 and 2 are about 20 minutes, a little over 20 minutes each, and part 3 is about 10 minutes each. Part 3 is actually, the majority of it's on, not on Reds Canyon Loop, it's on McKay Flat Road. I don't have those quite out yet. I'll explain more at the end of this video, and we'll go from there. I hope I'm not forcing anybody to take some Dramamine when I speed these up, but again, I had to take 4 hours plus of video and get it down to a reasonable amount of viewing time. So one of the ways I can do that is to speed up the video. I want to show everybody the entire road so you'll know what you're getting into. So far I've got some pretty positive comments on that, so I'll continue to do that. As you can see, we had some pretty good weather, white wispy clouds and a blue sky, and it was blue sky. It was really pretty that day. Here we're back into the wash again. As far as camping areas in this area, I'm not sure. We don't do camping. We usually rent a Verbo or someplace in the area for a while, and we have that as our base camp, so to speak. So we're sleeping in mattresses every night, in a home, in a bed. So that's what we like to do. Coming up straight ahead, you'll see a fairly large butte, and I believe on top of that butte, I'm not sure, but there's a trail up there called Reds Canyon Overlook Loop, and it can be accessed from I-70 around Eagle Canyon. If you were going to go Eagle Canyon, that would be going north. You'd go south, and you'd be on Copper Globe Mine Road. You take that road and you'll eventually intersect Kimball Draw Road and Cat Canyon Road, and you head down that trail and you'll eventually get to the loop, the Reds Canyon Overlook Loop. So I've never been on any of those trails, so do your research before you go. They're all moderate. There's also a trail that goes to the Copper Globe Mine Airport Road is what it's called. I understand that's got 5, like very difficult. So anyway, again, do your research before you go, and I recommend trailsoffroad.com. They've got all these trails done. They've reviewed them, driven them, and very helpful. And they've got GPX files and maps you can look at, and recommendations and showing the waypoints. It's a great site to get this information from. Anyway, here we continue on Reds Canyon Loop. This section of the road was very relaxing, even though it was a little rough in places, with these gigantic geological features on the side here and the buttes. It just kind of gave you an appreciation for the beauty that God has made on this planet, and we felt real serene as we came through here and real at ease. just thought I'd share that with you. This is what this trail does to you. It really makes you kind of look at the big picture and how small you really are in this big picture. So anyway, I thought I'd share that with you. Here we're going to go through this wash and we're going to speed the video up a little bit. I think at 5 times. I try to stay at 5. Sometimes I went to 10, just depending on the area. I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but I would highly recommend a 4-wheel drive vehicle with a little clearance. Possibly a 2-wheel drive like a truck or SUV with a little clearance could do this road fine. But you'll see what I'm talking about when I come up to part 2. There's some places that definitely would need 4-wheel drive. It's nothing crazy or difficult, but this road is subject to washouts and weather, and you want to have a more than capable vehicle when you travel these trails. Just while we're kind of slowing down a little bit here, we took a little break there, but we're continuing on. Some of the other trails you can access in this area, and you'll see in part 2, is Lucky Strike Mine. Obviously Temple Mountain Road, that's how we accessed Reds Canyon Loop. Broads Valley Road is in this area. Hidden Splendor we'll see in part 3, where the turnoff for that is. And we've already mentioned East Kimball Draw and Cat Canyon, and then Copper Globe Landing Strip, and again Copper Globe Mine. Those are all trails that are accessed in this area. There's a few more, but do your research and you'll find a lot of places to travel in this area. And some of these rock formations along here, the way they're eroded by the wind and the water, remind me a lot of Little Finland, which is in the Gold Butte area in Nevada. And if you're not familiar with that area, it's about an hour north of Vegas off of I-15, about an hour south from St. George, and about 30 minutes from Mesquite. And it's well worth the trip. A lot of things to see and do in that area. And there is some dispersed camping in the area. So check it out and maybe take a ride out there one day. We've been there a few times, but this is way before GoPro and the YouTube channel. So maybe that'll be one of the future videos we'll do when we get down that area again. Here we are, just cruising down the wash, enjoying the scenery. Gonna speed it up for a little bit here and then slow it down a bit. We're seeing some Interesting rock formations on the left side of the road now. Most of them have been on the right. But look at the formations on those rocks, on the rock faces here on the left. How many layers there are there. Millions and millions of years to form all this area. Well, we're coming to an end on part one. We're coming directly to the sun. As we get into the shadows, I want you to look at the rock face on the left and the detail, and then all the rock that have fallen off the face of that rock. Just hopefully you're not on the road when one of those happens. Well, here we're at the end of part one. And the end screen, there should be a link to part two if I've posted that video. If not, there won't be, but I plan on posting part two within a couple of days of the release of this video. So anyway, as I always say, you won't know if you don't go. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Take care and be safe out there.